Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand spanking new AL22 revolver from Rock Island Armory. Going to be talking a little bit about the specs, going to be putting some shots on paper, and toward the end of the video, going to talk about a little problem that I had with this revolver, and if you own one, you may need to know about this issue. With that said, we're out on the range, all sorts of distractions from traffic to wind to birds and bugs and all kinds of things that we just got to deal with. All of that said, let's jump into it. Hey crew, it is Chris with CloverTac and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here on CloverTac, we talk about all things firearm related. So if you're into that sort of thing, jump down and smash that subscribe button. And if you want to keep up to date on the new content, go ahead, click that notification bell as well. Now, you might already be familiar with the M-Series revolvers from Rock Island Armory, and those revolvers were made in the Philippines. What was interesting and unique about the AL22 when I unboxed it, right there on the side of it, made in the Czech Republic, which I think is pretty cool. We're going to get to the specs on this revolver in just a little bit, but for now, let's put some rounds down range and see what we can do. Got some of our targets from Outdoor Products Plus. They're marked, posted down range. Going to step back 10 yards, going to fire off 9 rounds from the offhand position in single action. Now for today's video, going to be using some cheap bulk ammunition from Winchester. This is the Winchester Expert 22. Going to be a lead hollow point with a velocity of 1,280 feet per second. As always, safety first, got my eyes on, going to put my ears in, and we can get started. Here we are downrange, taking a look at the target, and not a bad group right out of the gate here. Measuring center to center, this group is just about 1.5 inches in size. Pretty good for that offhand position. The group's a little bit low, a little bit left. The shift in point of impact versus point of aim could be me, the ammunition, or maybe the sights need a little bit of tweaking. Now let's step back again to 10 yards, again firing 9 rounds from the offhand position in double action this time. See what kind of group we can get. Downrange now, looking at the group shot in double action. And while it did open to about 1.75 inches on this center to center, with having to use the double action trigger pull, again, not terribly bad. While the shots are centered, they're still a little bit low, so there might be some sight adjustment in order. Before we continue with my first impressions on this little 22 revolver, a quick question of the day. Jump down in the comments below and let me know how you feel about revolvers chambered in 22 long rifle. Let's take a minute and talk about the specs on this revolver. Now obviously it is a single action, double action revolver chambered in 22 long rifle with a 9 round capacity. There is also a model available chambered in 22 Magnum. Now the single action trigger pull weighed in at about 4 pounds. The double action trigger pull seemed quite heavy at about 11 pounds. But when I tested this against some other double action revolvers that I own, I found that 11 pounds, honestly, for a double action trigger pull was about par for course. The barrel length on this revolver is going to come in at 4 inches. The overall length is going to come in right at 9.5 inches. Now the front sight is a fixed ramp sight, but the rear sight on this revolver is adjustable. This particular model has a stainless finish. However, these are also available with a blued finish. Going to come with a pretty nice set of rubber grips, and the unloaded weight comes in at about 2.5 pounds. All right, with those specs out of the way, let's get back on the range using the same ammunition, this time with the Ransom International Multi-Cal Steady Rest at a distance of 50 feet, firing again in single action. and see if we can improve those groups even at a farther distance. Taking a look at the target here, the group did tighten up just a bit. Comes in at about 1.25 inches or so, center to center. More importantly, we can tell that those shots that were a little left earlier were probably me, because these shots from the rested position are much more centered. So now let's repeat those same 9 shots from the rested position, this time in double action. Once again, down range and looking at a nice little group shot in double action, coming in at about the same as that previous single action group, about 1.25 inches center to center, and not bad at all. A definite improvement over the 1 3/4 inch group that was shot offhand in double action earlier, and obviously a testament to what you can achieve when shooting from the rested position. Let's talk a little bit about the problem that I had with this little revolver. Now, since receiving this from my good friends at Rock Island Armory, put about 500 rounds through it, and up until actually the filming of this video had 0 issues. But during the course of filming this, I had the cylinder lock up on me. So neither the trigger nor the hammer would pull back, and that was because the cylinder was locked up. Normally when this happens with a revolver, it's typically an issue with that cylinder stop. Now, cylinder stop is the part of the revolver that stops the cylinder from rotating once it reaches the proper position. So the first thing I did was contact Rock Island Armory support, and then while I was waiting on a reply from them, took the side plate off this little AL22 revolver, inspected everything, and what I found is that the plunger on the cylinder stop was not moving freely. So I want to give props here to Rock Island Armory support, because they did reply to me very quickly. We discussed this issue, we discussed what could have caused this issue, and we discussed ways that I could fix it. After talking to support, I decided that I was going to disassemble this cylinder stop. It's going to clean up the plunger, clean up the spring, clean up the channel that the plunger rides in, lubricate everything, and put it all back together. Now, I'm assuming that there was some dirt or gunk or powder or maybe some metal shavings from the manufacturing process, because once I got everything cleaned, lubricated, put back together, well, the revolver worked fine from then on out. So if you do own one of these revolvers and you experience a similar issue, please, for the love of God, do not use force to try to pull back the hammer or the trigger, because you're going to damage something internally if you do that. Instead, get with Rock Island Armory support, or hit me up in the comments below or by email, and we can discuss some ways that we can get you lined out and back on the range shooting. And there you go, crew, a first look at the brand new AL22 9-shot revolver built in the Czech Republic by Rock Island Armory. As always, if you have any questions or just want to continue the conversation, you can do that down in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out, thanks for watching, and until next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.